What is up, lunatics? I just got finished seeing Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up, starring our favorite hamburger, Porky, and our favorite ducky, Daffy Duck. I just came home from the movie theater. It was released today. It was very exciting. And of course it is. We've been looking forward to seeing this film for such a long time, right? It was a very good movie, I will say that. I won't give away any spoilers. This is exciting. This is my out-of-theater reaction. I'm going to keep my movie ticket because this was a special thing, this movie, and it will always be special, this movie, because it's a throwback to the 1940s version of how the Looney Tunes look, like visually. This is kind of like the movie version of the new Looney Tunes cartoons show they had on HBO Max. They had for a couple of years. And Petunia Pig is back. She's, entertaining. It's great to see Petunia again. They've always underutilized her. It's great to see her again in an important role in the film. So, Daffy, Porky, and Petunia are the only Looney Tunes in this film. And for others, that might be disappointing, but I kind of like that idea, actually. We've always seen the Looney Tunes all together, and Porky and Daffy are one of the greatest comedic duos of all time. They've always gave me a chuckle. They've always made me laugh. Porky and Daffy are amazing together. And now we have a whole movie of a Porky and Daffy adventure, and that's great. Like in the past, we always had them team up when they had cartoons where Porky and Daffy were detectives, like Sherlock Holmes. They had one where Porky and Daffy were police detectives. Of course, they had Duck Dodgers, Porky and Daffy. They also had Robin Hood with Porky and Daffy, with Porky being Little John. They always did stuff that was comedic with Porky and Daffy as like a duo. And by the way, like now that this is a thing, I want to see a Duck Dodgers movie next, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Duck Dodgers should have always been a movie when I think about it. But anyway, so the plot of the film has to do with an alien invasion. There's one alien in the movie, and he's pretty entertaining, the character. I don't think he has a name, because I don't remember them saying his name in the film. I recall in the credits that they list his name as just the Invader, but his design looks very similar to the aliens in Mars Attacks, which was also another Warner Brothers movie. And Mars Attacks was a live-action Warner Brothers movie, but it had a lot of Looney Tunes humor in it. And also Gremlins 2, which was also made by Warner Brothers, had a lot of Looney Tunes humor in it as well. And if I remember correctly, I think Bugs and Daffy introduce the movie in Gremlins 2, the new batch. But anyway, there's a really great twist in the film later on, and I don't want to reveal it, no spoilers. I will say something that's not really a spoiler, it's just something that's funny to look forward to. In the film, they show Porky and Daffy as like babies, and you get to see them grow up together, kind of like brothers. They were adopted by this farmer guy, and this farmer guy who acts as their father is hilarious. The way he looks, like his animation, and he's so, he's like a farmer character, and he has really funny moments in the film. And the film's plot is kind of like Chicken Little, I'd say. They even play the same song, It's the End of the World, and We Know It, or whatever. It's a fun, wild animation ride. There's lots of explosions, and their faces being stretched, and it felt like you were back in time. It's a throwback movie for all the old school animation fanatics, right? And in that regard, it's great. Also, like I noticed a lot of the references to other Looney Tunes stuff in the film, and those were really a thrill to see. Porky and Daffy even wear the same hats they wore and the uniforms they wore when they worked in that factory in that old Bob Clampett cartoon, and they were doing the same thing with the conveyor belts. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, yes, oh my god, they made their hats look the same. This film is kind of a tribute to Bob Clampett. A lot of what this film is, animation-wise, is feels very Bob Clampett-y, if I can say that. Unexpected things happen in this film from time to time. Daffy and Porky go in places emotionally and character growth with Porky and Daffy that we have never seen before, probably ever, maybe, in the Looney Tunes. And that was really neat to see, and it was nice to see because that's a refreshing thing to see the Looney Tunes do something different like that, and different in a good way. I also can't help but feel a Space Jam connection with this one, folks. I noticed to me, it reminds me of Space Jam. An alien invasion, aliens being the main villains of the film. I mean, it makes me think of Space Jam, you know? I feel reminded of that. And also the first shot of the film, you see the moon in the sky, and then the camera pans down, to like a factory or whatever. And that's like the first shot of Space Jam, if you guys can remember. The first shot in Space Jam is the moon. And it goes down, the camera tilts down, and you see, little Jordan practicing basketball in his backyard. So yes, this film has that Space Jam feel at times, which is very cool, and it fits. And what's weird is like all these main Looney Tunes films that were in the movie theaters, they all have to do with aliens, pretty much. You have Space Jam, right, with the aliens. Space Jam 2: A New Legacy. There's Marvin's UFO, very alienish. Then in Looney Tunes Back in Action, there was the Area 52 place that they were at with Marvin and all the other famous movie monsters, right? Well, the ones that Warner Brothers owned. Not all of them, And also there was the fight with Marvin in outer space at the end, in the climax of Looney Tunes Back in Action. That was Alien-esque, or Star Wars-esque. Then you have The Day the Earth Blew Up, with the alien invasion. Also, for all you people out there who aren't old school movie fanatics, if you don't know, this movie's title is a parody of the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. But now it's The Day the Earth Blew Up, which is great. I give it 3.5 stars. This is a joyous occasion for all Looney Tunes fans out there. We should be rejoicing right now, and this is like Christmas for us right now. As Lunatics fans, we should all be very happy because at least something came out of these, canceled Looney Tunes movies. We finally have the Looney Tunes back on the big screen again. See it tomorrow, see it when you guys can. Let's make this a hit. Let's bring back the Looney Tunes again. Let's keep going. It ain't over yet. That's not all, folks, The Looney Tunes still have legs as characters, in my opinion. Also, at the end of the credits, and this isn't really a spoiler, I promise. In the end of the credits, Porky and Daffy appear out of the rings, and Porky's like, that's all, and then Daffy's like, no, Porky, maybe we can appear again in a sequel together. And they're like, ding! And, I really wouldn't mind that, right? As a Looney Tunes fan, wouldn't it be cool to see a couple of Porky and Daffy movies together? If that's what keeps the Looney Tunes alive, then I'm all for it. And the whole film is 2D animated, which is great. That's amazing to see. Finally, a full 2D animated movie. I'm a little bothered that some Looney Tunes fans out there they're really complimenting this film for being the first fully 2D animated Looney Tunes movie, and I don't agree with that premise. Like, all of the Looney Tunes films were all fully animated. Yes, I know the Looney Tunes movies that I reviewed on this channel, because I reviewed all of them, by the way, in my marathon. The ones from the 70s and 80s, they used a lot of old animation recycled and spliced it in with new animation. But still, those movies are still fully animated, though. So I don't really agree with this kind of notion that the whole film is the first fully 2D animated Looney Tunes movie. That's not true. I don't agree with that statement. It's great. I love that it's like that because we haven't quite had a Looney Tunes movie like this before, but that doesn't mean it's like that thing with the animation that people mention. That's not a whole new thing. It's not a brand new thing, really. It is, but it really isn't, though. It's another Looney Tunes movie. I just kind of don't like that people say that because I feel like it's kind of insulting. It's insulting to all the other classic, good Looney Tunes movies that we've already had in the past. There's nothing wrong with what they did with the other Looney Tunes movies in terms of animation. I didn't mind that Looney Tunes Back in Action and Space Jam, for instance, mixed in the live action with the Looney Tunes being 2D animated. I didn't mind that. To me, I didn't view that as like a negative. I thought that was a thrill ride to see how the human beings would interact with the Looney Tunes in real life. That was amazing. So I don't really take it as a negative that it took them this long to make the whole film being 2D, or compliment the film, but don't insult all the other great Looney Tunes movies that we've had. We've had about, I don't know, 20 Looney Tunes movies already? And they're all great in their own way. And also, there's Tweety's High Flying Adventure. Did you guys all forget about that film? That whole film was 2D animated from start to finish. So, we actually already had something like this prior, but it's just the first one in a very, very long time. And it's great. It's all great news. I hope that this does mean something more significant to the Looney Tunes other than just high reviews. Because I noticed that they don't want to market this film. They're so cheap. Warner Brothers is being so cheap right now. They don't want to market the film. Does the average person know about this movie? I would say no. And that's sad. And it shouldn't just be the Looney Tunes fans. This should be a film that anyone could watch. For any person who's a fan of 2D animation, check this one out. You don't have to be a Looney Tunes fan. You will laugh. There are moments that are funny. And it might make you like the Looney Tunes if you never really liked the Looney Tunes before. This is a love letter to the Looney Tunes. But again, with that little stipulation of mine, it's not the first fully 2D animated Looney Tunes movie. That's a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, it's a really good movie. 3.5 stars. Check it out. Let's save the Looney Tunes. That's not all, folks. My name is SuperPat98. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. And hopefully the Looney Tunes will still be around the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and another 100 years from now. See you guys again real soon.